Well, welcome back to Millennium County Railroad with me, Jim Tedesco, your host and engineer and whatever. And when I'm all around, guys, I do everything. Anyway, I'll tell you what, it's a little too weird. It's 10:30. It's Millennium County time. It's in the morning, by the way. So, are you ready for part 3 of tunnel interiors? Since we're on a roll here, and I did some thinking. Of course, this is a new day. Last night I was looking around and thinking, you know, it is so hard working with those thin foam sheets. I mean, it's good for smaller projects, but for this big wide one, that's not going to work out well. And I'd forgot that sometimes, see, I buy things sometimes, and I'm thinking I may need that someday. And sometimes it pans out. And I actually got this stuff. It was at Hobby Lobby. It's a mini foam project board. And it's like a three, well, you know, I already cut it, but it was a fold out, like a three-way mirror type thing, you know. So I've got to trim it down to fit. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a box that will slide into the tunnel. And I'm going to try something, and this is for Chuck at CDP 1965. He seems to think that if you paint the foam first with any kind of paint with a brush, and then spray the Rust-Oleum on top of it, it should be okay. So I'm not going to risk ruining this, but I've got a small section cut off here that I could try it on, and if it works, that's how we're going to do it, and we won't use the tin foil. If not, we'll go back to plan A, which was using the tin foil glued onto the foam, paint the tin foil with the Rust-Oleum rock guard, and then paint it the burnt umber to, yeah, I'm missing my light here, paint it the burnt umber to match the outside of the mountains. So, are you with me on that still? That's a lot to take in all at once. So that's the plan. Sounds like a good one, right? I hope it is anyway. So stay tuned. Like I said, I'm not going to film all this. I'll film some of it as we're going through. I'm going to go ahead and paint the small piece here, just a little section of it. I don't have to do the whole thing, just like maybe a couple inches, and let it dry. Then shoot it with the Rust-Oleum rock guard, and if it works, we may be on to something. I'll let you know one way or the other. So when I come back on camera, we'll have the results of this. So stay tuned. Be back in a few. Alright, I'm back. It's been a few hours. You know, this stuff takes time, right? So, first things first, and this is for CDP 1965, Chuck. I tried your experiment. It seems to have worked. At least on this stuff anyway. Now, I guess you'd really have to try it on everything. Now, it's a little iffy because, you know, it's a big risk to take. I mean, you could try it. I'd put a good thick coat of, you know, a water-based paint on before you attempt to, you know, put like this the spray stuff on here. I don't know how close I can get this to. There's my glasses again. Hey, it's rough when you can't see nothing. Alright. Yeah, you might be able to see the texture there. But it actually did pretty good. I mean, I was kind of surprised. And you can see the brown paint is my base coat was brown, and that was just the apple barrel burnt umber. Yeah. So it's a success. So we now know we can do this. Although I would be very cautious when doing it. If it's something that's a one-of-a-kind thing, it probably would think twice about doing it. But if it's something that is expendable, if worse comes to worse, sure, give it a shot. So this is for you, Chuck. This is the answer to your question. Yes, it did work. Can't beat that, right? Okay, so since we've got past that, take these stupid glasses off again. Now, I remember I said I was going to use that other stuff. What did I do with it? And I didn't cover this all that well. Oh. Nothing like digging in the trash, right? This stuff here. I got this at Hobby Lobby. I don't remember what I paid for it. There's no price on it. I'm thinking it was around $4, maybe $5. It was kind of expensive for what it was. And it's only 15 by 20, but it folds out into 3 pieces, so it's kind of handy. You know, originally I think I bought this in case I wanted to, I can't remember, you know, my memory's terrible. But one of you guys, somebody anyway, was making backdrop buildings, and they were using the foam as the base and then putting a photograph on the top of it to make it look like an actual building, which was a brilliant idea, by the way. So I bought it thinking, well, maybe I might use it for that someday. You never know. And they only had one left in Hobby Lobby, so I grabbed it. Because, you know, my luck is anytime I see something cool, I don't buy it. When I finally do decide to buy it, I go back there, it's gone, and they don't have it anymore. So I wasn't taking that chance, and I'm glad I didn't. But anyway, that's what I'm using for this. It is thicker. It's about, looks like it's about an 1/8 inch thick. Now, I trimmed it down and glued some inner supports in there with the leftover foam. So this is my tunnel, or at least the inside of it. Now the next step, of course, is I'm going to go ahead and put tin foil on it anyway, and then I'm going to spray it with the rock coat. So keep your fingers crossed. I mean, it should come out fine. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. And then after I spray the rock coat, then I'm going to go ahead and do the burnt umber. I'll airbrush that in. And then we'll mount it, and I'm going to have to make some portals, I think, because I got one. Actually, I got 2 portals I could probably use. I had to modify them to make them, because nobody makes a 3-track portal. They just don't. At least I can't find one anyway. I don't know why. I mean, if you had 3 tracks, why not have a portal that spans 3 tracks, right? Maybe there's just no place in the country that has 3 tracks inside a tunnel. I don't know. I mean, usually most tunnels seem to be either 1 track or 2 track, but I had to be the oddball and have 3. Absolutely probably not prototypical, but so what, right? It's different, it works. You know, if I had more room, I'd have 4 or 5 tracks. But I didn't have enough room for any more. So, anyway, I'm going to shut the camera down again. I'm going to go ahead and get the foil on here. I'll turn it on briefly to show the foil. And then I will go ahead and paint it with the rock coat, and I'll show it again after the rock coat's painted on there. And then I'll show it after I put the burnt umber on there, and then from there we'll show it being installed and getting set up for our actual tunnel. So, stay tuned, be back in a minute, or an hour, or whatever. Hey, I'm back. And it's been a while looking at the clock. It's already almost 4 o'clock. But I've got my tunnel portal done, more or less. Looks pretty good. I've got, let's see if you can get the, yeah, you got a nice texture in there. And I did in fact use the rock texture, which doesn't seem very rocky, but but it's there. And of course I airbrushed the burnt umber onto it. Everything I got left to do, and I should have done it to begin with, but I can still do it. There's a seam here that I need to push down and glue it, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Once that's set, then we can slip it in place and install the tunnel portals. So we're almost done with it. It actually went by pretty quick once we get all the painting and gluing and all that stuff done. So I'm quite impressed with it somewhat. Still wound up using the foil, but that's okay. Like I said, you could, Chuck's idea is a good one and it will work, but I was afraid to take the risk on kind of an expensive piece of foam. Well, expensive to me anyway. But I may try it again with something else, because I'm going to use the thin foam sheets again on the fourth tunnel. There is 4 tunnels, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 4th tunnel for the passenger rail, because it's pretty narrow anyway. So I'm going to try it on that, and if it works, we'll see what happens, because I don't really want to fool with the foil on such a narrow tunnel. And I would kind of like to have that rock look inside. I got to pick up another can of that rock stuff anyway. That one's just about empty, and that could be why it's not working that well. And I'll get the dark brown one and maybe just leave it. I may not even have to do the burnt umber over it, so we'll see. That's a project for another day, not for today. Today is number 3, not number 4. Actually, there's going to be 5 parts in if you count the over here on the side with the shaper sheet. Right? Yeah, that's right, it will be. I can't count anymore. Actually, I can, but, you know, it gets pretty busy around here. I can't tell whether I'm coming or going sometimes. So I'm going to shut the camera off for now, turn it back on when I'm ready to install the tunnel interior into the tunnel itself, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned, be back in a bit. Okay, we're back. So the paint is dry. I glued down the thingy there, you probably can't tell. So now it's just a matter of slipping it in there. I'm going to check the other side, make sure it's off the track. Okay, well that's it. That's the placement for it. Doesn't look too bad. Of course, it'll look better once I have the portal on there. Now, see what the portal is going to look like, because I'm not sure. See, I need to re-glue this portal. I got it in 2 halves because I had to custom make this. And it's not really something that, like I said, nobody makes a 3-track portal. So I had to take 2 double-track portals and lengthen them to make it a 3-track portal, which, you know, kind of works out. Plastic cement, plastine cement in there. That should stiffen it up a little bit. I'll give that a minute or 2 to set. Actually, while I'm doing that, I could take the one off the other side and use that on this side. Maybe. Let's see. Find it. There it is. Alright, this is the one from the other side, but I can use it on this side. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. In fact, it's going to be a lot tricky. I may have to pause the camera and do a little finagling to get it in there. So I'm going to pause the camera and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, and I'm back, and it's in. It took a bit, but it's in there, so that's one side done. I could go ahead and turn the cube car on and take a look inside, see what it looks like. Might as well, after all. Let me pause the camera again. When it's coming back on, we'll take a shot of the inside of the tunnel, so stay tuned. Okay. Let's go ahead and roll the car in there. Oh, doesn't want to roll in there. Hold on just a second when I get it. I don't have an engine hooked up to it, so. There's the night vision kicking in. And that's the interior of the tunnel. So for all you that ask why I'm doing this, this is why. It's like the money shot. It looks perfect. So you can't go wrong with that, right? I think it looks good anyway. Let's take another car in there and run a little bit farther in there. I mean, it looks pretty good, you know. Now this is why I go through all the trouble to do this. I know a lot of you guys saying, why are you going through all this problem? Well, this is why. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. This looks great. So, this is why I did it. So anyway, that's going to wrap up part 3. Right, that part 3 one. Yeah, part 3. And we'll get this printed and edited and up on the thing, on the internet. And we'll go from there. Now, tomorrow I'll concentrate on making a couple of portals for the other side. When I get those done, I'll probably post those separately as a part 3B, right? How's that sound? And then we'll work on the next tunnel, which will be part 4, and then the shaper sheet for part 5. You get more and more parts of this the longer we go, right? Anyway, that's pretty cool, so that's what we're going to do. So, fortunately this was not a very long video. And let me swap camera positions for a minute and I'll sign off. Hang on. Okay, so that wraps up part 3 of tunnel interiors. Part 4 will be coming very soon, I'm sure. I don't know how soon, but soon. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, you know where to put your comments at. I'll answer as best as I can. Or even if you got any suggestions, I'll take those too. Your input's always helpful, good, bad, or indifferent, don't matter to me. So, by the way, you see what time it is? They're wrapping this thing up. That literally took the whole day. It's 20 to 7. That was like an all-day affair doing these tunnels. But that's alright, it was worth it. Anyway, as always, keep it on the rails, and we'll see you again real soon. Thank you again, and see you soon.